We're back. Another view here from the C-suite with the CEO of BDM Group, Neil Nelson. And Neil, today I want to delve into these contracts and deals. A lot of times we hear people say they gave me a bad deal. We never hear people say I signed a bad deal or I took a bad deal. And I know that there's the ethical and moral implications. I know, John Hope Ryan spoke on this as well with Jelly Roll, speaking about the music industry.
I'm gonna do a whole video on the supposed conflict with my Jewish brothers and sisters in the music business. People are upset because they're on the wrong end of a contract. If I sign a contract with you and you're not paying attention, my job is to get the best deal I can for me, not the best deal I can for you. Capitalism is a table. There's somebody sitting on one side of the table and somebody sitting on the other. This guy's job or lady's job is to get as much as they can while paying the least. This person's job is to give as little as possible while getting the most. And every good negotiation means everybody leaves the negotiation slightly irritated because nobody got everything they wanted. So don't be upset with the people who are great at contracts when you're not paying attention to a contract. Nobody forced you to sign a contract.
And a lot of times that's the framework for a lot of these predatory deals. What would you say to that?
To talk about what's a fair deal, we're talking about an ethical question, and this is the part where I think John Hope Bryant missed the boat or missed the point, missed the mark. Is that I expected him as someone who I've heard, and I've listened to his videos, and I've heard him in the past talk about religion and spirituality, and therefore moral ethics. There has to be some ethical component to a business deal beyond the black and white of the contract. Is the deal ethical? And the ethical component comes into being when the parties come to the table. Each party, if you believe in building a relational deal versus a transactional deal, you have to say, well, yes, I'm looking out for myself, but I'm also interested in the other party that I'm doing business with, especially if we're going to do business for a long time. Now, if it's just a one-off thing, if it's just transactional, then most people are not going to care. But if you're having if you're entering into a contract with, as a label, with an artist that you hope to have a relationship with over multiple years, as most of these contracts are structured in this way, then you want to also you do want to make sure that they also get a fair deal. Because in business, they talk about this concept of the shadow of the future, that if there is a ongoing relationship with the parties, then both parties actually it's in their best interest, I should say, to look out to make sure that whatever deal we come to, you can continue to be a viable, ongoing concern on the other end of this deal, because I'm going to be depending on you partially to show up and be a good partner and be a productive partner in the relationship. This is where the ethical, moral component arises, right? And the reason you can't just blame the artist, but you can't just blame Burkina Faso, as you threw that variable in the equation. You can't just blame the side that got the bad deal, because in many cases where it's a bad deal in the music industry and other areas, it's because one party has so much power that the other party has no viable alternative, meaning that they can distort the structure of the business environment so that you don't get a deal anywhere else. This is the only deal that you're going to get, and we're going to structure it in a way that benefits us. So this moral dimension, this ethical dimension is not being talked about, and I think that's the opportunity for us to have a real meaningful conversation. And, Mr. Bryant also brought in this idea about his Jewish brothers in the music industry, that they're getting a bad rap for the kind of deals that they're structuring with Black artists. Now, I don't know anything about that, but my question would be, in his evaluation of that, are these the same kind of deals that are being made in those communities, right? See, whether it's the music industry, whether it's France, are these the same principles that are being applied when the deals are being made among Frenchmen in France? or when people within different ethnic groups, i.e. the Jewish community or Korean community or Chinese community, are they making the same kind of deals? Or are they making different kinds of deals? Because if they're making different kinds of deals, then it's not just capitalism. Now we're talking about inter-ethnic commerce, and that there's a different kind of cadence and different ways in which people are doing business, intra-ethnic group versus inter-ethnic group. And then again, the moral question still arises, and we can have those conversations about whether or not it's just business as usual, or it's because of you. And we know that you don't have the resources, you don't have the means to go elsewhere, or at least you don't know that you can go elsewhere, and therefore we're going to exploit you as much as possible.